I'm joined by Eric Segall. He's a law professor at Georgia University and the author of Supreme Myths, Why the Supreme Court is Not a Court and its Justices Are Not Judges. Thank you for being with us on France 24 tonight. Tell me, first of all, how much power does a Supreme Court justice have in the United States?
Well, a tremendous amount of power, it turns out, because they're the only judges of any high court in the free world that hold their offices for life. So they never have to worry about being fired or, losing their jobs. But we have a long tradition in our country, very different from Europe, of Supreme Court judges vetoing many, many important decisions, even when the text and history of the Constitution isn't clear. So there are only 9 of them. They last for 40 or 50 years sometimes. So it's very important.
Now, Trump says that he admired the late judge, Antonin Scalia, the judge who died and who is being replaced on the Supreme Court. What kind of judge was he? And can we expect Trump to nominate somebody similar?
I'm willing to go out on a limb that Donald Trump knows absolutely nothing about the kind of justice that Scalia was, but the people who are helping him have said that. There is a lot of fake news in the United States about Justice Scalia. Off the bench, he talked the talk of paying a lot of attention to the history and words of the Constitution. But at the end of the day, if you look at his votes, he did what all United States Supreme Court judges do. They voted their personal values. So this is a lot of rhetoric about a justice like Scalia. But at the end of the day, he voted to strike down state and federal laws as often as many liberal judges that he criticized. I hope our confirmation process, which is to a large degree broken, sorts this out a little better than the pre-confirmation rhetoric, which is very misleading about Justice Scalia.
Well, I was going to ask you, how much power in this confirmation process, how much power do the Democrats have if they want to block this? If Trump picks somebody who is completely outside the mainstream and Democrats vow to stop this, can they actually do that?
Well, I don't think he's going to pick anybody out of the mainstream, and rumor has it in America that he's down to 2 judges, and both of them are well within the mainstream of American politics and legal circles. The Democrats don't have very much power. It used to be there was a filibuster that would take 60 votes in the Senate out of 100 to have a justice go forward, but the Republicans have the votes to end that filibuster, and they probably will if they need to. I have to say, we're only at this point in time because of the unprecedented obstruction by the Senate and the Senate's majority leader, Mitch McConnell, in not allowing President Obama for over almost a year to have his nominee. And that was the first time in American history that a president in his last term was denied a justice in that fashion.
So is it possible this seat could remain empty, and what are the implications of that?
I don't think it's going to remain empty. I would love this seat to remain empty, and as a personal matter, I think a 4-4 evenly divided Supreme Court would be fantastic for the country, the American people, and the world. And I was saying that long before Donald Trump won the presidency. Because our court has so much power, it is a shame when it exercises it for partisan political reasons. If they were forever tied at 4-4, it would be much harder for them to do so. But I have to confess, I'm in a minority among American law professors who feel that way.
Has the Supreme Court always been so political, or is this a recent phenomenon?
It has always been this political. In 1803, the very first constitutional law case ever involved a huge battle between the 2 major political parties at the time. Of course, a Supreme Court decision in the 1850s led to the American Civil War, and it's been political ever since.
All right. Eric Segall, thank you very much indeed for talking to us.